here they are. Tell me about yourself, or where do you see yourself in 5 years? When managing a complex project, stress is inevitable. How will you plan to cope with it? What is your weakness and how you plan to overcome it? And why do we hire you? If you relate all these questions, right, the interviewer is only trying to find the differentiator or the uniqueness in you from the other candidates. Tell me about yourself. Everybody would want to know. But do they want to know what you've already written in your profile? No. In your profile, you would have already mentioned what CGPA you had, which college you graduated from, which place are you from, right? Try not to do a repeat of that. The way you can position is, I'm so and so, and while this information is already on my profile, I would like to talk about something else, right? Ensure that you're bringing in some kind of uniqueness there. What do I mean by it now? Any project that you've handled, just touch upon it. Any hobby that you have, right? Talk about it, right? Anything that you have been doing in social service space, talk about it. Any kind of mentoring that you have been doing, talk about it. The examples that I'm giving are pretty limited, and each individual is unique. You will have your own USP. Try thinking, what is it and how is it that you can bring in your introduction. Ensure that your personal introduction is not taking away 90% of your introduction, and ensure that you have a fine balance between the study that you've done and what kind of mark you've created for yourself and your personal introduction as well. Very, very important. When you're introducing yourself in your hobbies, I'm not saying that everybody has a unique hobby, right? But certain things you cannot say. I've heard people saying sleeping is my hobby. Please avoid making such statements. I know this generation really likes to be relaxed. Sleeping is one form of relaxation for you folks, but it doesn't sound very encouraging when you are in an interview, right? The way you can position is that if I have nothing to do, I would like to give myself some rest and probably look at some wellness programs, or how is it, or some opportunities where my relaxation is not just related to sleeping, right? The narrative is very, very important. And this was, again, just one example. So hanging out with friends is, again, another one, right? Then quoting these things would just mean that you are just like the other person in the room and will not give you the extra edge that you could have had if you were a little mindful about introducing yourself. When do you see yourself in 5 years? Very, very important. I think all of us are quite clear in our mind. I mean, this is what I have studied and this is what I want to do. While your near future is cracking the interview, the research that you've done about the company, you definitely know what roles are there, where is it, and how is it that you can land in 5 years. Now, whether that happens or not is very, very subjective. But that will also tell the interviewer that how well prepared you are, how focused and intentional you are with respect to your own career growth. So ensure that you know it. And it's not cast in stone that the interviewer is going to hold you accountable, that if you crack the interviewer sees you after 5 years, this is what you said in your interview and now you're changing it. Nobody does that. They only want to know the clarity of thought that you have and what kind of career aspirations you're having. Yeah. The third one is about managing a complex project, and stress is inevitable, right? This is very, very important. I think no matter which company, which stream you are in, stress is inevitable. There will be situations wherein you will feel, oh my God, I don't know whether to go east or west, north or south, and I'm stuck. That's exactly what the interviewer wants to know. How will you cope with it? Because stress, whether it comes to you in the first month, let's say, of your training, or whether it comes when you're completing first year work anniversary, nobody knows. But how do you deal with it, right? The best way to tackle it is if you have an example to quote, so that it becomes very, very relatable and authentic for the interviewer to hear from you. Just passing a comment like, I have handled a lot of stress in my life and I think I can do it. Very vague and ambiguous. But if you bring in a situation to it, for example, right? And I will give my example so that, and you can, of course, um, change it basis the context and the experience that you have, right? If I was in your situation, I would have said that when I joined a new company, I had a team of people and things changed. Team members started leaving. I wasn't too sure whether it was me or the change in the leadership that kind of prompted this, but it was very, very stressful for me because the work had to be done, but with an unstable workforce, I did not have a line of sight how it was becoming stable, right? How did I cope with it is even more important, right? I had a candid dialogue with my boss that if there are, let's say, 80% contractors in the team, we should be looking at, let's say, 40% FTEs in the team now and making it 60% contractors so that the continuity of work is there and we can see less of attrition. That's the way I approached. Whether that happened, not happened is irrespective. Your interviewer is only trying to see what kind of solutioning mindset you have, even in extremely stressful situations. So think on these topics and then you can handle it. In your specific cases, it will be around your college, your studies, your syllabus, and how you coped with it, right? If you are having some work experience, you can tie it back to your previous work experience and bring it here. Fourth one, what is your weakness and how do you plan to overcome it? A lot of times I've heard people, at least in the past, I've heard people saying, I don't have any weakness. Very hard to believe, you know. It's an aspired state to be. All of us have weakness, including me, Vikas, everybody, right? It is that moment of awareness and acceptance. Yes, I have it. But at the same time, I am doing ABC to overcome it and not live with it, right? Um, Example, when too many tasks are given to me, I'm flabbergasted and I don't know how to prioritize. And I end up missing timelines, there are escalations, and then, of course, I am in a very, very stressful situation. But what I'm trying to do now is start writing down right at the start of the day, I make a list of tasks that I need to complete in that day and ensure towards the end of the day, I revisit that list. So it doesn't become a dead list that I wrote it and then I forgot. No, there is a check to that list. If I had 7 events, 7 tasks to complete on that particular day, I will revisit it at the end of the day and see, right? Also, writing it down helps me prioritize. What is it that should move up? What is it that can move down and can wait, right? Since it is work in progress, I don't say that I have overcome my weakness, absolutely, but I'm on it, right? So this way the interviewer feels that yes, you are aware about yourself, you are accepting that you have weakness or area of opportunity, but you're not stopping there. You are making corrective action to make it better for yourself, and that's what he or she wants to know. Why did we hire you? I love this question. One straight answer can be, for whatever I've told you about earlier is why you should be hiring me, but that'll sound very, very rude. Here, you should think that what is the differentiator that you can add when, as to why is it that they should be hiring you? Again, any instance, any example, right? It could be, I think that I have a growth mindset. And you could give examples like when you were in your course, if you took up any extra certifications or you were pursuing any other line of learning, that would be very, very good that you did not limit yourself to the course. Now, I don't mean to say that everybody who's on the call should just, after this call, go and register yourselves for any certification. Not at all. It is your area of interest. But there will be something for all of you, and that is something that you should kind of call it out. It could also be like that when I was in campus, there was a bunch of folks who were struggling with a particular subject, and that's where I decided to mentor them and coach them, right? That talks about how you take people together. As much as you are competitive, you want others to succeed as well. Remember, together, you can walk only as much, but together, you can walk far. right? And these are the things that the interviewer will be interested in knowing. So ensure that in questions like these, you are clearly able to call out the differentiator that you have in you.